Hey everyone, Karnak here, Star Wars Armada Explained. We're going to be looking at the Lambda Shuttle for the Empire. It's a squadron. So the Lambda Shuttle is not unique. You can see there it's a generic variant. You can bring as many of them as you have available for your squadron point total, which is in a standard 400 point game, 134 points in squadrons. Bottom left-hand corner of the card, you'll see the Lambda Shuttle icon for that squadron. Opposite is its point cost, 15 points. The Lambda-class Shuttle can travel within a distance of 1 to 3. It has 6 hull points. Anti-squadron armament is 2 black die, and an anti-ship armament of 1 blue die. It has the keywords Heavy, Relay 2, and Strategic. Now, to quickly go over what these keywords are, what does Heavy does again? Well, again, Heavy, if you say are engaged with a squadron without Heavy, you can never leave. You're stuck in that engagement. If the squadron without Heavy wants to bounce out, he can bounce out. What Heavy also means is that if there's a ship right here, for example, he doesn't stop the squadron without Heavy from, or any squadron from shooting the ship because he just doesn't have that capability. That's pretty much Heavy in a nutshell. If you want to learn more about it, you can read the keyword or watch my videos like with Y-Wings or Bombers that kind of go more in depth in it. Because we're mainly here to get into the relay and strategic keyword portions of this card. So what's great about Lambdas is they are very much support craft. They're meant to help other ships be able to do the job. So when Relay was first released, its initial keyword had the ability of a Lambda or a Gazanti shuttle could be way over here. The Lambda could be on the other side of the board. And if you had squadrons, you could relay the command from the other side of the board to the relay to the squadron to then do stuff. And if that sounds really powerful, it's because it was, and it was quickly nerfed because it just made games a huge I'll just stick my commander on a flotilla. This was way back when, way over here in a corner, and all I do is just sit here and command squadrons all game, and just the game was so boring, it was so dry. Probably one of the lowest points in Armada's history. But they changed it. They're like, you know what? That's really dumb. So now how relay works, for your guys' information. So when a ship goes to activate squadrons, it checks to see if that relay is also in distance. If yes, that squadron is also in the relay distance, in this case, activating close to medium range, then you can send along up to 1 or 2 of that ship's squadron commands to any other squadrons at distance 1 to 3 of the ship. So let's read the keyword again, or read the keyword here. It says relay 2. When a friendly ship resolves a squadron command, up to 2 of the squadrons it activates can be at distance 1 to 3 of you. So essentially it's just furthering your ability to activate squadrons without needing to bring something like boosted comms, or even if you do bring boosted comms, as you can see here, you can place that squadron at distance 3. You're practically, reaching across the table. It can get you anywhere. So if you are bringing a lot of squadrons, depending what your strategy is, sometimes it's nice to have a squadron or 2 with that relay ability, so that way it's easier to keep your commands in range and getting them out to your squadrons that otherwise potentially maybe they're too far away. So that's relay in a nutshell for that. But as you know, that's not everything. So let's talk about some other things with relay here and how it works with a title like Center Core. So Center Core is a title ability that allows a ship to not only send squadron commands to Center Core can still then relay those commands through a relay squadron if it wants. This you can see here in the official answer rules forum. It says, can a squadron resolve its relay keyword if it can only be activated because of the Center Core upgrade? Yes, but no more than 2 squadrons can be activated through the effect of the Center Core upgrade during the same command. What do I mean by all that? All right. So again, Center Core works like the old relay, and the fact that the Gazanti can be way over here in a corner. We'll say Center Core is right here. We'll say we've got a Lambda right there. We'll say we've got Merrick Steel right here. So we'll see here that Merrick Steel otherwise is not inside range to be activated from Center Core. We'll say that the Gazanti reveals a squadron command. Now he's over here all by himself. There's nobody around him. But Center Core's unique ability allows you to command up to 2 squadrons from Center Core as if it was activated by that ship instead. So Gazanti reveals squadron commands, say, hey, I'm taking those 2 commands, I'm checking them over the Center Core. Center Core says, hey, I look around, What squadrons can I activate? Okay, well, there's a Lambda in range it can activate, but I can also ping a relay through that Lambda to get to Merrick Steel. Okay, that is absolutely allowed. It's a little bit of a process, but essentially you can take the squadron commands 1 to 2 from the Xanti, pass 1 to 2 to the center core. It can activate either from itself or again through relay to other squadrons. So that is, I want to make sure I was covering that with center core. So that is part of the world winning list from last year, heavily revolved around the center core upgrade and having small ships like that just kind of flying around the board, avoiding engagement as center core kind of dip, ducked, and dive to command squadrons to where they needed to be. So that it was more complicated than that, but that's in a nutshell. So that's center core with relay. And again, if you look at the FAQ, the relay was changed. I don't think there's any other major things that I'm missing with relay here. I'm just gonna double check real quick. Yeah, again, the card was errated. You can only relay squadrons from the ship itself. I don't think there's any other crazy things going on here. Let me check. One more thing. I should have had it all open, right? You're like, man, you think you'd have everything already, and you're like, you know what? You're right. I do think I have everything already, and then I don't. Going into the CARM here, my personal version, I'm working on getting the FAQ or the RNG and FAQ lined up in an order. It just takes time, very time-consuming work. Let's see, where are those squadron keywords? They're in here somewhere. Here we go. Making sure I'm not missing anything with relay. All right, so that's in the wrong spot, but reminds me of what I make sure I'm covering for that. It's only active because it's in the core. Yep. Nope, nothing I'm missing. Okay, just wanted to double check. I thought I had something pop into my brain, but nope. We're totally good. Okay. So, where's my vast library are? All right. So that is the relay keyword. Let's get into strategic. So strategic, when you end your movement at distance 1 of 1 or more objective tokens, you may move one of those tokens so that it is at distance 1 of you. So on the board, there are various tokens that can be in play. Objective tokens are these ones that look like crosshairs. So if a squadron, if the Lambda moves and ends its distance at distance 1, something like this, or like that, that's its distance 1. You can then pick up that objective token and then place it at distance 1 anywhere around you. Do you want to put it underneath your squadron? Absolutely do that. Do you want to chuck it to the complete opposite end of the corner from where it was? You can do that too. Anywhere at distance 1. Now, I do want to clarify that it only specifies objective tokens. You can't move proximity mine tokens. You can't move ignition tokens. You can't move any other kind of token that could be on the board. You can only move objective tokens. I had somebody try to say that they could move their proximity mine tokens around into me, and that's not the case. He was getting that confused with the objective minefields, where in the minefields objective, the mines are objective tokens. But now that we have two different types, again, can only move objective tokens, and you cannot move proximity mine tokens or any other tokens. Again, I want to make sure I'm being super clear with that. All right, check those guys over here. These tokens, they can be moved regardless if they're on top of an obstacle or even if they're being hidden underneath a ship. You can still, you just mark the ship if you know there's a token underneath there. You say, hey, I'm going to mark your ship. I just need to check to see where it is. You move it out of the way. You say, yep, that's at distance 1. I'm going to grab it, pull it out, put the ship back where it was marked. So that's totally good. You can take objective tokens and you want to put them underneath ships. You can also put them underneath ships. Totally fine. Or move them to be underneath squadrons. Again, that's totally okay to do that. Otherwise, for strategic, remember this is only when a squadron ends movement. So something, for example, if it was to be pushed by fighter coordination teams or SQUAL, that is considered a end of movement. It'd be able to manipulate the token. Something that is a placement doesn't trigger this effect. What do I mean by that? So let's say, for example, this Gazanti is putting along and there's a lambda there of a token and accidentally overlaps that lambda, and then the player places the lambda back down right there. Does it get to take the token and move it around to wherever it wants? No, absolutely not. That was not a squadron movement. That is a placement. Okay, the squadron didn't move. It was placed there. All right, again, key differences in terminology. Want to make sure I was covering that. So that is strategic in a nutshell. There's no crazy things or interactions or anything going on there. Two things I still do want to cover. What happens if a ship has an objective token on it? Remember, though, objective tokens are not kept on a ship in the play area. The objective token is actually kept next to its ship card, which is off the play area. But can you grab it? No, you cannot. Because again, when it says here, when you end your movement at distance one objective token, you may move one of those tokens. Again, when you're moving and doing stuff like that, you can only manipulate what's actually in the play area. You just can't reach over across the table and yoink an objective token from in front of your opponent and then place it in the play area, because it's not a valid target to be chosen in a situation. So again, only objective tokens actually in the play area can be manipulated. What about objective tokens that are, say, at the edge of the table here? We'll say the lambda moves down and says, oh, you know what? I'm going to throw that token off the table. Can you throw it off of the play area? Again, the answer to that is no, because it's removing it from the play area, which that isn't allowed for any type of movements that we currently have in the game in terms of the confines of the game. When you're making movements, as defined, movements need to be within the play area. So that's not the play area, so you can't even put it like halfway off. It still needs to be completely within the play area. You just can't throw it off the table. I mean, if you want to get into a huge, big, long debate about it, we absolutely can. But I can show my sources for why that isn't. It's just a really complicated answer. But pretty much, no, you can't chuck them off the play area. All right, that's strategic. Let's get into Kernel Genda. So Kernel Genda is a pretty awesome guy. He's friends with almost everybody. Let's put steel back down here. So Kernel Genda has heavy and relay 2 as well. No strategic. He is unique. You only have one of them. He's 20 points. Comes double brace. Has all the same stats as the other lambdas. His card ability says, during your activation, instead of attacking, you may choose a one friendly squadron at distance 1 to 2. That squadron may perform an attack even if it has already activated. What does this mean? Again, in a nutshell, we'll say that Gendon gets activated. There's a squadron over here. We'll say it's Merrick Steel. Gendon says, hey, Steel, you're my bestest bro. I'm going to fly over here. We're now at distance 1 to 2. And instead of me trying to make an attack on anything, I'm choosing not to. And I'm going to pass that attack to you, and you can activate and conduct an attack against an X-Wing. Regardless of, for example, maybe Steel already activated and shot that X-Wing and did 2 damage to it. Genda comes along, activates Steel again. He rolls his attack pool, rolls 3 damage, and then, hey, that X-Wing blows up. So essentially, that squadron gets 2 attacks to conduct. It can't do a movement, but it still gets that bonus attack. So with Kernel Genda, though, there's still some slight little things here I want to make sure, again, we're covering. So Kernel Genda has an FAQ. It says, Kernel Genda can resolve his effect if he is not engaged or is unable to perform an attack due to some other effect. This card's effect does not activate the chosen squadron. If a ship equipped with flight controllers activates Kernel Genda, and Kernel Genda uses his ability to cause another friendly squadron to perform an attack, that squadron's armament is not increased by that card's effect. What does, again, that all mean? So again, it's saying specifically that Genda doesn't have to have a target in range for him to use his ability. It just, is he at distance 1 to 2 of somebody that you want to pass an attack to? He can. There doesn't need to be like an X-Wing at distance 1 for him that he needs to be engaged, or another ship that he's like, oh, I can choose that, but instead of attacking that, I can pass. They're specifically saying, no. You don't need to have other targets at distance 1. You can always pass his attack if you want to. So they're just clarifying that from the FAQ. Again, doesn't activate the chosen squadron, or if Gendon, as it says there, he's not able to perform an attack due to some other effect. I don't know what other effect why he wouldn't be able to perform an attack, but pretty much, if he can't attack something, do the obstruction or something else, he can pass his attack to somebody, even if there's a viable target in range or not. Again, want to be clear. Things like flight controllers don't pass along through Kernel Genda's effects. Remember, flight controllers is when that ship, activates a squadron, it gets an extra blue die in its anti-squadron armament, and so it throws that in its armament. Well, technically, you're activating Gendon, and so when Gendon is passing along his attack, he's not passing along that bonus die to the squadron that he's tapping on the shoulder to say, hey, shoot again. Because that squadron isn't technically being activated. It was Gendon who was activated, so they were distinct in that. Some squadrons can still benefit from having dice added to their attack pools, like, for example, Howl Runner and TIE Fighters of Swarm or some other kinds of effects. But just keep in mind that is a precedent, so keep that in mind for other interactions that potentially it could be involved with. All right. What else we got going on for Kernel Gendon here? So, let's see here. When activated by Squadron Command, Kernel Gendon can utilize his card ability either before or after moving. So you're not restricted to having to move and do it, or do it and then you can do it in any order. Also, one point of reference is Kernel Gendon is not a rogue, and if he's not activated by Squadron Command, he can only move or pass his attack. He can't move and pass his attack. That's something I was guilty of when he first came out, because I thought, oh yeah, he moves, he's not attacking anything, and so, but instead of attacking, which you can't, but he can pass it, right? And no, you can't do that. If it's a squadron phase and Steel's way over there, you can't move and say, okay, now Steel's going to shoot. Okay, because again, Gendon's not rogue. He can either, in the squadron phase, he can either pass his attack or he can move. Can't do both. And often you will see Steel and Gendon together all the time, because for essentially 41 points, they're 41 points of just amazingness. Steel being a double blue die bomber with dice correct. He hits hard for anti-squadron. He flies fast. A lot of health, double brace, got grit. I mean, those two together are pretty much inseparable. All right. So that's Kernel Gendon. That's Strategic Relay. I don't think I'm missing anything else to cover with them. But of course, if you feel like I missed anything or got anything wrong, please be sure to point it out. Let me know. Appreciate you guys commenting on my videos. It was great seeing a lot of you at LVO. I'm very much looking forward to Adepticon, and I'll see you all there. And hey, y'all have a great day.